All right, we can start our work session, 5 o'clock. First project on the agenda tonight is 337 Dobbin Road. Any comments from the board members?
Yeah, we have seen this before, and there were a lot of gaps and inconsistencies in the plans. And there was no applicant present. They have on the front cover sheet kind of picked up some of the inconsistencies, like the chimney's been added and such. However, the picture window is still not the correct size. There's supposed to be grills on the windows. And when I go through, there's no photos submitted with this, so I will go over to look at the house, and there's windows on the side elevations that are either not shown at all or not shown correctly. They're not in the right positions. They're not the right size or style. So, just with, there's so many things that are just not correct. So are those windows being infilled, or is it just an oversight?
But Carol, here's the thing. We had one similar to this with respect to lack of information on the documents. And we told that particular applicant that he had to go back and give us more information. I see a similar situation here.
I absolutely agree, because there's no material call outs on any of the new materials. The columns are shown one way on the front elevation and a different way on the section. There's just so many things, and all of a sudden there's apparently on the proposed elevations, there's now a stone wainscot that's being shown all the way around the perimeter of the building. Are they really doing that, or was that a drafting error? The grades aren't reflected correctly. It just is, it needs a lot of work before we can even see what we're really reviewing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it falls within the same situation that we had a few weeks ago. And we made that applicant come back and give us more information. Well, we had to sit through a 30-minute dissertation on what he was doing with the building.
correct. And,
We don't need to-
we already went through the list on this one in the pre-meeting last time, the last time it was shown. So, this would be the last chance to get this picked up and get it correct.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Hi, sorry I was late.
It's all right.
Did you all mention the roof issue on the front porch? There was like a false gable end.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had that marked. We
Okay,
haven't really talked about it, but yeah, it seems like there's multiple issues that need. to
That
be-
one, yeah, that
Yeah.
one showed out to me most of all, and I didn't see all the other stuff he's.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So we're just, right now, David, we're discussing, there's so many gaps and inconsistencies. There's no photos. I went over there and looked at the place. And there's all kinds of things that are not reflected correctly. Elements that are missing. So we're going to ask that they sharpen their pencil, so to speak, and get the existing conditions reflected, get the material call outs, get the drawings consistent from one drawing to the next. There's things shown on the plan, not on the elevation, et cetera.
All right, so we will discuss that project. Next, we have 505 South Gore Avenue addition. Any comments from board members on this one?
No,
I had none.
I mean, generally speaking, I think it looks really nice. I would like to discuss maybe adding some windows or other interest on the new addition on the first floor north elevation.
Below the two double hungs on the second floor is where you're talking about, correct? Below that. Yeah, I just wondered, I couldn't tell the porches, were they closed off? Or do we need to do something there, or? I couldn't tell from the drawings.
Additional comments? We can move on then. The next project is 112 Oakwood Avenue, new construction.
On this one, I was thinking there's board and batten on the front of the garage and in the porch kind of alcove. And then it transitions from board and batten to horizontal siding as it turns the corner at the garage. But the garage is designed in a way where it kind of looks like a volume that's sticking out of the main house, and maybe the board and batten can wrap around that and terminate in an inside corner.
Yeah, or even at the gutter or downspout line even,
Yeah, that would help. Yeah. So it's-
if there's a compromise there.
And then just wanted to clarify that there's board and batten on the front elevation at the second floor, and I was curious if that turns the corner as it goes back towards the house,
Mhm.
kind of in the middle of the house.
Right. Above the door.
Also had a note about the concrete finish that's exposed at the front elevation. Looks like you're seeing a big portion of that. How that will be finished. And then also a question about the gables on the side, left side and right side. It looks like they've got a band board at the bottom of the gable and horizontal siding in the gable, and maybe that could be changed to the shake to kind of mimic what's going on at the front.
I was looking at the windows on the right side and left side elevation, wondering, or actually the rear elevation as well. But especially where they wrap the corners at the front, if they could repeat the window pattern of the 2/2 with the center button down the middle. If they could pick that back up, especially in rooms where they share the windows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with those comments. Also too, on that front elevation, I'm wondering if they can't just reroute that downspout to run down the side of that column instead of right down the front. I think that would help. I agree with the comment about making the windows consistent. And then also to the very high windows, if those could be they're so small. If they could make those windows just a little bit taller, the ones that are like the transom windows, I think that would help the elevation a lot because they really, really look small. And I appreciate, the nice trim that they've got shown on the front elevation. However, we have no trim at all around the windows and doors on the side or the rear, except for the overhead door. And I can understand maybe they wouldn't want to, do the trim with the header on it, but maybe even some sort of more modest plain trim to just have it look a more consistent style and a more consistent quality. I think that would help an awful lot. Let's see what else we've got here on the list. Oh, yeah, and there's at the first floor level, there's a band board that runs around 3 sides, but it's not shown on the rear. I think it would be nice to just run that around and have that consistent around all 4 sides of the house. And maybe add some windows or other interest into the kitchen on the left side to avoid that large expanse of siding. All we've really got there is a few notes on the elevation that makes it look like there's something there besides siding. But I think something to break that up would be very helpful.
Anything else? Discuss 112 Oakwood Avenue. The last one is 9201 Big Bend Boulevard, new garage. Comments on the garage?
My only comment is maybe in how the wording is, there's a phrase that says siding that matches brick. And what is that?
Yeah, I have that same comment. I guess it's supposed to match the siding's supposed to match the size of the brick as far as, looking like a brick course. However, it's, on these elevations is kind of drawn like it's stucco. And I'm wondering how that siding is proposed to interface with the stone on the corners. And also too, it looks like there's an actual break in the elevation, like we have two on the roof slope. It looks like we have two slopes. But that's not shown on the side elevations. And I just want to clarify, how low is that slope on the low part? And are they really going to put shingles on that? And then also too, something that I'm very, have a lot of questions about is on this final page, it looks like there's some sort of applied trim on this front gable of the house that's meant to match this gable. But how does that work? How is it even buildable? It doesn't match the roof lines. Is that some sort of applied trim? And if so, it's going to block the valley on both sides. Because
Yeah.
there's a valley to the front gable as well. I mean, this to me just doesn't look coherent or buildable at all.
Yeah, Carol, I don't live too far from this house and I walked by there the other day and you're right. I mean, I don't know how they're going to achieve that with the way that is all brought together. And the brick looks like it's painted on the existing house. I mean, but it just, and I had the same comment with, siding to match brick.
Is that brick right there?
Yeah, that's brick.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's also too with this whatever this trim or whatever is going to be applied to the gable of the house. That's you see that from the street. This house is on the corner and there's a very plain gable on the front over the front door.
Right.
And it just looks very inconsistent.
Mhm.
And to me, this is kind of a nice little house. I mean, it's got very simple forms. It's got some nice material textures to it. So
Okay.
I think it would be more in keeping with the style to just have everything remain simple.
Well, and it matches the stone entrances
Yes.
to that street,
Yeah.
which
But-
is kind of cool. I mean, I
Yeah,
like that.
I mean, I think it's, everybody goes, in my neighborhood anyway, we all go right up and down Big Bend all the time. So
Oh, all the
it-
time, sure.
And I've always admired this house. I think it's a really nice little house and
Yeah.
I really think that foregoing any alteration to the house would be the thing to do. Because this, I just don't see this as being workable.
Question I had too was the pergola. Is that part of what we're reviewing with this? Or, because that's new also.
Yes. That's the pergola's new as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with those
Yeah.
comments and then simplify, instead of putting those big chunky ends to the roof line, if it was just simple, like the main house.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
might be,
I think it makes more sense to make the outbuilding match the house than to make the house match the outbuilding.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Did someone mention that the brick sculpture course over the garage door is an odd choice for a stone building?
we didn't talk about that yet, no.
Okay, I just noticed that.
Yeah,
And then I looked over at the existing house to see if there was a precedent for a brick header there, a brick soldier course over the openings, and there wasn't. So I'd just rather see a stone, maybe a keystone if they really want to, but not the brick.
mhm.
on the existing house where they're showing that, the broken eave, there's that band across the front, across the bottom of it.
Mhm.
What's the current photo? What's the current detail of the brick, or the stone to brick?
There's some photos. It's on the back side of one of these sheets. They're a little bit hard to see because they're fairly small, but it looks like it's just the stone and then the brick on
Oh.
top of it.
Oh, I didn't see that. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Okay.
And when you see like this really nice photo, you can see from the corner how, the front gable and the side gable work together. And I just don't think the application of that trim or whatever is doing the house any favors at all. It's a disservice to the house.
Yeah, because if you do a treatment on that gable end, then you'd want to do it on the opposite side, the other side that we're not seeing.
And then that front gable would look like it's incompatible with the other.
Yeah.
Are any of the other homes in that development, this kind of stone looking?
Most of them are brick or brick
Yeah.
and stone.
Just don't get.
Yeah, they're all, they're modest size homes. They've all got a nice level of detail on them and they've been pretty well maintained.
We can discuss 9201 Big Ben, the regular session. And that is the end of our list for the work session. So we will take a 12-minute break. There's that clock up there. I was looking at that, it was
Yeah.
way off. We'll take a 12-minute break and we'll resume the official meeting at 5:30. So if you're here in person, just hang on. And if you're online, we'll be back. Thank you. We're good. All right, welcome everyone to the Architectural Review Board meeting. We've finished our work session. The regular meeting is now underway. Introduce Jim Bailey with the city, Carol Dunkey, Tracy Collins, Chuck Yannicki, David Yates, and then myself, Bob Buckman, all volunteer architects on the board. First item of business is review of meeting minutes from December 5th, and I believe we were all present. With that, may I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the December 5th meeting minutes as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting minutes approved. Next, we'll review projects. So as we call your project out, we'd ask that you come up to the front microphone and introduce yourself, and we'll discuss the project with you. If you're online, to raise your Zoom hand and Jim will add you to the discussion. First project is 337 Dobbin Road.
Evening, Aaron Parton, homeowner at 337 Dobbin.
Hi. Welcome,
Hi.
Aaron.
I believe my builder is also on the line if there are any questions there as well.
All right, is there anyone with their hand raised that are going to be added?
Be that first one.
There we go.
Hey, Charles.
All right. All right, so we have. Okay, so we can go ahead. I know there's some questions about existing windows and materials. I know Carol maybe could go through. I'm not sure if you listened to us at the beginning.
I
and-
certainly did.
Yeah, so I guess we can go through that list.
Sure.
Maybe we can just go page by page. Perhaps that would be the thing to do, rather than trying to group all these things in some logical order. And if other board members have comments, please, speak up. I can see that, some of the changes were made from last time.
Mhm.
However, these front existing windows, they do have grills. They're 6/6s and they're not shown. The picture window is not the correct proportion. I mean, it's much larger than
There
it
is no
is.
intention to change any of that.
Yes, but it should be depicted correctly, because we do need to be able to review the whole project and see how it looks, as a unit. So the existing conditions do need to be reflected correctly. And on the front elevation, I mean, there's an existing round gable louver that is above the garage. Is it your intention for that to stay or be removed?
Be removed.
Okay. So those are the things like on your, you've got a set that says demolition plan, and it shows your plan. One sheet shows demolition, another one that's labeled demolition plan doesn't show demolition. So we need to just kind of get this set more reviewer friendly. And, this is a more minor thing, but the garage door style is not depicted correctly. And, we don't have material call outs really on what your new roof materials on the front are intended to be. We need material call outs on your columns. The columns on the new front porch are shown one way in elevation. And then when we get to the section, they're shown as all stone. So we just need those consistencies cleared up. On one side, there's on the family room. When I went over and looked at the house, there's an existing side window in that family room that is not shown on the plans or the elevations. Is that being removed, or what's the status of that?
No, the two windows will remain there, and that is depicted on page 13.
Okay, I am talking about here.
on the rear.
This is, if you're, on the existing floor plan, I mean, when I went over to,
That, those three windows will actually change to one window. We're actually moving the kitchen from the center of the home to the left side of the home. And we intend to put a pantry on the left side where those three windows are will be removed, and we'll have one window in the pantry there. And then we'll have a big picture window over the sink in the new kitchen area.
okay, I'm talking about on the side elevation.
Yeah, there's two windows currently there, and they will remain. We'll include a side door entry into a mudroom area. That'd be great.
Well, we need to be able to have the plans reflect what you intend so we can review it.
I'm
And when
looking at-
I look at the side elevation in person, where the bedrooms are, there's a window, that is much closer to the front of the house than is shown. And we need photos of your existing house as well.
I
That's,
turned those in. I'm not sure why you don't have copies of them.
yeah, we do not have copies of the existing photos. And we have these existing, this whole sheet of existing elevations that are incorrect. I mean, these do not reflect what your house looks like. This is still a whole sheet that doesn't show your stone. It doesn't show the windows the correct size or style. It just,
That none of that is changing, ma'am.
I understand, but the thing is, when we're trying to judge what the house looks like, we need to know what your scope of work is. And if there's no notes saying this is existing to remain, and it doesn't look like the photograph, then we have to conjecture, well, is this staying? Is it being removed? And it's just not noted. And it shouldn't be a conjecture
I can
thing.
very easily type those notes out for you.
They should be on the plans.
Yeah, just
Thank you.
to help Carol out here, we need to know what the intent is. The document should be able to stand alone and let us know what that is. You shouldn't have to get up here and go through a lengthy explanation as to what you're doing. We should be able to get the intent of what you want to do from the documents, make any comments you have, and you being here, hear our comments and be able to respond. We're not able to do that effectively here because we don't have enough information on these documents to do that.
Sure, so I
Do you
can make
get,
the-
you understand what I'm saying? We're not, I'm
not.
not trying to, to be as critical in the sense that we just want to have the intent of the documents clear enough to where we can make our comments.
And our family would love to have this addition underway, and we would love
Hey.
to.
I got you. I get you, man. Everybody wants their stuff underway.
But-
But the thing is, we cannot judge this just on the merits of what's given here. We have to have more information that's clear enough so we can make, as Carol says, a judgment as to what it is that you are or are not doing. And there's conflicts in existing and new construction and what's shown on the documents. We need that cleaned up. Go back to your architect or your builder or whoever, tell them to get onto this job and clean this set up.
Yeah.
It's not your fault. You're the owner. You hired them. Tell them to do their job.
Yeah, I would just say, when we're reviewing the drawings, quite simply, we have information that is lacking. We typically ask for, the notes for the materials, for existing conditions to be drawn correctly, everything's in scale so that what the review board is reviewing is going to be what's built. And I think really what the board is saying is we're not finding all that information clearly in these drawings.
I mean,
It helps you too, because then kind of, you can point to the drawings and say, it's not built for this, or what to expect too. It's
For the
good
homeowner.
protection for you.
I mean, as a homeowner, I will be there managing this project
Right.
to the nth degree.
Yeah,
Ask Charles, he will know. He
Yeah.
already knows. So, I just find it concerning that you know, I understand, like, there's probably more details that need to be made, but there are also things in there that we're talking about that don't really matter in the
Okay.
big scheme of things.
So are you putting a stone wainscot all the way around the
No, ma'am.
house? Then why is it shown in the
That is an
drawings?
oversight.
Okay, so how do we know whether it's an oversight or whether you're really doing it? These are the kinds of things we need clarification on.
Understood.
Then also for the city, when your project is under construction, they need to know what's been agreed to and it needs to be shown on the drawings.
Yeah,
So
because
it's in everybody's best interest. For you as the owner, you know exactly what to expect. Your builder knows what to do. We can see what's actually intended. We know what we're reviewing and approving. And then when the city comes out to follow up to make sure that things are in conjunction with the plans, they know what to expect. So it's in everybody's best interest, in your project's best interest, to get the plans cleaned up, consistent, coherent. And if obviously we all want our plans done, we want our project done. So the best way you can do that right now is to get your plans in good order. That's the first thing that would speed your project along.
yeah, and just to piggyback on that, and what Carol's saying is that these documents go to Jim's office. And so when he gets the construction drawings in to review for permit, he'll go back and review that against these to make sure that with the comments or whatever your intent is being fulfilled on the construction documents when they issue the permit.
Understood.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Good.
Can I ask,
Sure.
this is not architectural review board related, but just I'm curious. The crawl space is 5 feet deep, and I'm just curious why.
The existing crawl space?
It looks like the new. I was just curious why I mean, you could go shallower than that and not have to do as much excavation. Just something to think about. Could save some money there. Because if we're gonna go 5 feet, it's kind of like,
I will not be digging it by hand, so that's always good.
yeah, I was just like, well, it's kind of in between zone where you can't stand up in there. It's not a full basement, but it's definitely deeper than a typical crawl space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the grades need to be depicted correctly on the sides as
Maybe
well.
is there some
Because,
fall?
yeah, there's a fall, and that's not shown. This site is not dead level. There's basement windows that aren't shown, so there's
So maybe that's the
yeah,
reason why you have to go down
right.
5 feet.
yeah.
What's that?
So maybe that's the reason why you have to go down 5 feet. If like their grade,
It does grade away slightly from the house, where the existing crawl space is. As you mentioned, it does fall
Fall a bit, okay.
pretty deeply into a
Maybe that's
hole. Not sure why, but, the way the land sits today.
I mean, if they do need to dig down that far to 5 feet, if they dig down another 3 foot, 4 foot, you might have a basement that you can.
Yeah, no, I don't need all that.
yeah,
More to take care of, more to heat and cool.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
yeah.
One question I had was, is the existing chimney existing?
Yeah.
Is the
All
chimney-
that's staying.
Okay, because it's not shown on the existing elevations. So we don't know, so we can't tell if you're adding a chimney or not, for example.
No, the chimney is there. It exists today.
Okay,
Not changing any of that. I think as you guys talked about in your pre-meeting, we are looking at doing a double dormer with like a false overhang, just something that adds a little character to the home today, where it's very flat today along the front. So we're trying to make it definitely more beautiful and fit into what Webster is doing. And it's unfortunate that the windows are not the correct size, and but we'll make some adjustments.
Okay. And then we
Yeah,
need
that-
to know things like on your new windows, are they going to match the ones that have the grills on them or no? Those are all the kinds of things we would need to
None of the
see.
windows on the front are changing. You're talking about the.
I'm
windows on the
talking
back.
about the windows on the back. Are they going to have grills or no?
The windows in the back don't. Several of the windows have grills. Some of them do not.
I'm talking about the new on the proposed.
We probably will not have grills in them. We want to be able to view the park as clearly as possible. That's why we bought the land.
Okay, that's, I understand, but the thing is we need to have that depicted because it's like, Okay, is it going to be a mix of grill styles? You'll have grills on the front, but not, but right now,
It's already a mix.
right now, we can't tell if you're planning to be consistent all along or not. So that's something that needs to be shown as well. If the existing have grills, show them. And if the new ones are not intended to have grills, that's fine. Show that too. So we need to see what you're doing.
Yeah. One other thing, if there is a slope to the land and you've got that door on the back,
It would be on the other side it would be on if you're looking at the house on the right side of the
living room
house.
side,
Uh,
or,
Yeah, so the door going to the exterior would be on the right side of the house. Where that slope down is on the left side. It's in the back
Yeah,
corner,
yeah.
far back corner.
yeah, I was just thinking about that slider door in the living dining room area. If that needs to come out to a patio or maybe a deck, if it does have a slope.
Yeah,
that
that,
might
I
be
mean,
something to think
that's
about.
definitely future state.
Yeah.
So that
Okay.
needs to be on there as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, because
Absolutely.
you don't want to have a door that goes out to. like a-
Well, I
a
mean,
fall.
we would have steps down temporarily, but we don't know if we want to have a giant deck.
Yeah,
If we want to have, a slab, we're
Mhm.
not sure yet.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is a big project for
it
us.
is, yeah.
And for our family to be able to function in our home, like we would need to get the interior done, like the exterior and all that, like the front porch, like even none of that's really that important to us. What's important to us is getting that additional space, the 12 additional feet, moving the kitchen and the bedroom,
Mhm.
so that we have enough space for our family.
Yeah. And that's what we review as the exterior, so that's why we're wanting to see that.
So if I just delete all of that and take all that off for a future project, like none of this even matters.
Well, because you're adding square footage, it comes to us because the exterior changes and that's what we review.
But you could do the rear addition and figure all that out and then don't do the porch this time.
Yeah, I mean, so I want to, like, we want the front porch. Like, what do we need to do to the drawings to get them through this process? Because this is a roadblock for us and we want to
Well-
make sure that we get to the next step.
Yeah, just to repeat, showing the existing conditions as they are, and also, things like the chimney that's not shown on existing, we don't know that. I'm looking at the east elevation on 105, which shows existing, and then I look at the same elevation on 112, and it shows that extension of the porch, but is there a roof that's missing there, or are you showing just like I'm gonna call it like a Western storefront that's, like there's a missing roof that I think might be not there that.
I think our drafter is maybe a rookie. So I can't say one way or another. I mean,
That may
honestly,
be the case.
I did not draw these, so.
I think that's the.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the result.
yeah, you
We're-
need to get some drafting help.
I would say just in general, these look like an in-process set of drawings. They are not complete, So when we're looking at them, we're not seeing a complete set of drawings, so we don't really know what the final result's going to be. Not only in the drawing itself, but also with notes to support the materials. I think those are the two things that aren't in the submittal on the exterior that make it really impossible for the review board to review because we don't know what we're looking at.
So will you guys in your notes very specifically call out what we need to address?
Yeah, actually, this is being recorded and you can
Perfect.
forward the YouTube link to your architect and say, this is what they said.
Perfect.
This is
Yeah.
what they want to see on the next round.
Yeah.
And Charles is raising his hand. Maybe Charles wants to speak too.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's muted. I think he raised his hand to come in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because if he wants to speak, that's also on record, on the video that we can then use as your record of what needs to be done.
Charles, anything to add?
He's muted.
He muted himself, right?
Yeah, he's muted.
Okay.
His end.
Yeah.
We can't hear you, Charles.
I don't know if there's sometimes the city, I won't speak for Jim, but sometimes if you can get your drawings in quicker, you could be, instead of like waiting for the actual submission date, sometimes they let you submit to get on the next one instead of waiting 4 weeks. You could get on the next one, which I don't even know when that is, but
Yeah.
Right, since you're already on the list.
you get in by like
We'll give,
Tuesday, or, well, I guess they've got a holiday, so.
next week is Christmas.
Right,
Yeah.
now, I know. I
Get in
understand.
by Monday, maybe.
Um, aside from the graphic stuff, I did have a question about the front elevation. I think David had mentioned this, but I was confused looking at this second gable when I looked at it from on sheet A111. And then I looked at it on sheet A112 from the side. It looks like just a false wall with no roof.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
So that's what you were saying. That shouldn't be on the drawings, right? I just want to make sure.
Yeah, no.
Okay, yeah, so,
Yeah, because actually the same elevation on the front
Yeah.
cover looks more complete.
yeah, okay. I just want to make sure whatever that is is got to be cleared up.
Probably an oversight.
Yeah, okay. And I know we were talking about a lot there. I just want to make sure I covered that specific thing
Thank you.
myself, so, all right, so the next ARB is scheduled, Jim, please remind me.
January 2nd.
Yeah, so it's 2 weeks from today. So, if you can get your design team to edit the drawings and add the notes, what would be the deadline to have them back so that,
By the end of next week.
that Aaron could be on? So,
Perfect. We'll get it done.
Okay, and give me a call and
Yep.
we'll work with you.
Will do. Thank you. Thank you all.
awesome, great.
Have a great
You're
day.
welcome.
You
All right.
too. All right, so we'll table that and then we're gonna move on to the next submittal, which is 505 South Door. One present for that online. I see a hand. Nathan.
Nathan, can you hear us?
I can. Hello, everyone.
Welcome,
Hi.
Nathan.
Sorry I couldn't be there in person. I have to do it virtually tonight. So
No
I did get a
worries.
chance to listen to the work session. So I don't know if there were any big questions that we could address, or it looks like it was clear enough what we're trying to do with the rear addition.
Mhm. Yeah, I didn't have any comments. Carol, Chuck? I'm
Well, I was
sorry.
just going to say, there was a comment on the north elevation at the addition to add windows at that first level, but that's your kitchen area. Is that correct?
Correct. We talked about it. We would prefer not to, just to afford them as much cabinet space as we can get for,
Okay.
big, growing family in a small Webster house. So that's what we were trying to give them a chance to increase that cabinet space.
Would you consider doing some other sort of architectural interest there to maybe break up that space and still maintain your storage space on the interior?
Yeah, the answer would be yes. I was thinking maybe a compromise would be to put a window, I would call it on the western edge, kind of closer to the corner. I just think those corner windows bring in nice light. So that would probably be my preferred way to get something on that elevation, if that would work for you.
Just,
Does that make sense what I described?
could you run it by me again? I'm not sure I got it.
So on that north elevation, there's the two windows on the second floor.
Right.
If we could put just one window, I guess matching those in size and proportion on the first floor, but do it on the, I guess, to the far right of the drawing, which I would call the west edge of that north face.
Mhm.
Kind of at the end of the cabinet run. That way we would lose a little bit of upper cabinets, but I would like the trade-off with a nice light that those corner windows can bring in. Or closer to the corner window. Does that make sense?
Okay. And you're saying it would be the same size and height and style as the one above?
That's what I would do. Yes.
Yeah, I think that would help.
Yeah.
Great.
I mean, I think it, very nicely drawn set, very clear. Thank you. We appreciate that.
seems to go easier that way, so.
It does.
Yeah, no, I think adding the window, if you're in agreement to that, from the kitchen side, there's always a way to add, more of an open casework in that same zone. So it's not like you
Sure.
completely lose that space. It just modifies it a bit. So,
Yeah, happy to
Um,
make that adjustment.
all right. Is there anything else from the board? All right. With that, may I have a motion on 505 South Gore?
I'll make a motion to approve 505 South Gore Avenue as submitted with the understanding that a window will be added into the kitchen on the north elevation, and the window will match the size and style of the window above.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? All right. You are good to go. Thanks, Nathan.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, next we have 112 Oakwood Avenue. New construction.
Good evening, everyone. As a Webster resident, I just say thank you guys for your volunteer time every month. And actually, Jim's been great in my few dealings with him already. So thank you. It's awesome. Thank you. So,
Thank you. All right, well, we had some questions on this one.
Did you hear the work session?
I came in at the last half
Okay.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Who would
we
like to-
were just here, I think in February for 820 Marshall, which was just finished.
Oh, nice.
So,
Yeah, great.
good.
I was looking at the materials and kind of how they wrap around the building, and I see that you've got the vertical board and batten at the front.
Mm-hmm.
And I was seeing that the garage is kind of this volume that sticks out beyond the house.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if you'd be open to turning the corner with that vertical board and batten to wrap around the garage face and then terminate
Yeah.
as it turns aside. So it ends at an inside corner.
Okay.
And what
Yeah,
that does is you
I
don't
actually have an
see-
alternate thing. What if I did the front in horizontal? Cause I.
the garage.
Actually, the
All of it?
the entire front, except for I like the gables with
Mhm.
shake. That's something that we did on 820 Marshall. And if you've driven by it, it looks awesome with the shake gables and the horizontal
yeah.
party. It does. And I've seen a lot of the board and batten stuff and I feel like it's played out a little bit. And then especially if you do it in vinyl, if there was ever like, we wanted to cheapen up the vinyl, board and batten looks terrible. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. So
that's true. Like now that you mentioned that, you have a lot of. materials
yeah,
on the
I
front.
kind
That
of have a
might
two
simplify
material
it.
rule. So in my personally, so if
Yeah,
it'd be okay with you guys, if it'd be considered it like all the field siding to be horizontal and the gables on the front to be the shake.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And you still have the rim board or whatever you want to call that.
Fan board.
the
Yeah,
board-
and I
band
did hear
board-
that should wrap all the way around.
Okay.
Do you guys want to see that at the first to second floor as well? Or at on the sides of the gables or anything like that? You're okay?
For me personally, if you put the one that's at the first floor level, just make sure that that comes around the rear.
Yeah, I
Um,
heard your comment and I
yeah.
feel like that's a good idea too.
And then it looks like the intent was on the side gables, to have it just at the gable and then also then at the first floor line. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, because it looks like on that one, this is just like a little housekeeping thing on the right side elevation. It looked like that
Missing, yeah.
the trim board is noted, but it's not shown.
Yeah.
So that's just a little clarification. But yeah, I think it would look nice and, yeah, it wouldn't look dated as fast without the vertical. So I think that would be a very nice,
Yeah.
very nice change.
Oh, I guess we did talk about, we were curious, it looks like the grade kind of steps away at the front elevation and that you've got a portion of the concrete footing or the concrete wall underneath the porch exposed.
Yeah,
And-
That's a representation of the grade, like of
Yeah.
how the engineer drew it. I would probably try to cover as much of that. We'd probably feather that down a little bit more. It doesn't need to drop off that hard over there.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't
but-
think there's any
But
problem
is there,
with that.
is
I was
there a
just
certain, amount?
curious
There's a certain
about-
amount of concrete that should not be showing, right? I mean, I don't know
We
how
have
much.
that.
Right, I think
Like,
Try to
really like
limit
8
it, but-
inches is all really loud, I think. So,
typically, if it's, you know, on the front of the house, side of the house, it's prominent,
Mhm.
and it's over 18 inches or so, you know, we would suggest it get hand rubbed or something at least, so it's not, you're not seeing a construction,
so like either.
you
have-
know,
either have
form
it-
work.
Yeah, yeah. So either have it parged or have like a veneer stone or something.
Right, I mean,
That would-
either or.
Yeah, okay. But if it's for approval and things like that, we should probably just say we'll parge it so that it's, yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
don't
think
see the
that's
form.
really what we're just trying to avoid a, you know, construction form work unless it's board formed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Parge would be better than stone too.
I think so
Yeah.
too. I
Yeah.
think so too, yeah.
Yeah, because it would be, yeah, more simple.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, and this is, could you on that front downspout that runs down that front column, could you move that to the
Yeah,
side?
yeah. I probably wouldn't do that. I think it'd just all be on the inside corner because that is not catching a lot of water there. But the inside, like, so if you see on the garage corner, I think we'd probably have it all run to there and come down.
Oh, yeah, so get
Mhm.
rid
You
of
know,
it
because
completely,
otherwise you
yeah.
have like a,
Right.
you know, like a 15-foot downspout going all the way down on that one side.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're
Oh,
just gonna,
so just get rid of it altogether.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean,
Into the other side.
I props to Curtis for drawing the downspouts because a lot of times we don't even get those on the plan, so. yeah.
Right.
I got too many.
No, I'm sorry, you guys are all design professionals. I shouldn't have said that.
That's good. That-
All the plans
that
I
is
give are
always
great
good.
all the time.
I never forget things on my drawing.
Ever.
we noticed, that you have grills on the windows on the front elevation only. Would you consider having those all the way
Absolutely,
around?
yeah, that would probably what we do. Just from the drawing that we selected, I think that was on there. So yeah, we just generally do the one grill down the middle. That's kind of the
Yeah.
style that we like to do.
That's
Yeah.
fine. And, you know, especially like that front room where you share windows, then it would be nicer of you from the inside to have. a match.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So that's no big deal to add style. So that's just a single rail down there.
Right, so they're all gonna be consistent,
Yeah.
2/2.
I did hear your comment about the transom windows.
Yeah,
So in advance of this meeting, when we look at the plans, I tried to add as many windows to places as possible.
mhm.
Because I know that was an issue before, and granted that impacts how a house looks, like why do houses look maybe not so great out in St. Charles versus here, you know? And so we added those. I think I can probably do in that window size, I can do a 4016, so it's like I guess it's 4 foot by 1'6". I think we can also get those as like a standard transom size, so.
Okay, so what,
Yeah.
what are those, are they
But
three?
I'm willing to make that trade in advance for not putting additional windows on that kitchen wall, just because I
Okay.
have no room for cabinets.
Just, let me verify right now, what are the dimensions
yeah.
of those windows?
I looked it up on my computer. They're 3010, so they're 3 foot by 1 foot window.
You know, I'm okay with the 3 foot if you could make them a little deeper, a little taller, because if they're the 3 foot, they align nicely
Mhm.
with what's below.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, you're right. So so maybe I could do like a 3016. Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree. These 1 foot tall windows.
Yeah.
if
If we
you
add
can-
another 6 inches to them, might be better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then as far as the trim, you know, there's like no trim around the doors and windows at all on the sides and rear, except for the overhead door. Would you be open to putting some sort of simple trim around those windows, just so the kind of the quality of the house kind of reads on all three sides?
We can do that. I think like a picture frame, I don't really think like a sill and I don't want to go crazy with the sill and apron just because.
I totally
Yeah, we're also
understand.
trying to hit a price point
Mhm.
there
Right.
too, so yeah.
Yeah, I figured that you probably wouldn't want to do the headers and everything, but if you would do like just a simple picture frame, I think that that would really add to the kind of the presence and the quality
Okay.
of the appearance
Rather
of
than
the
just the
house.
J mold they put on.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Because you intended the J mold on the other three elevations originally when you had the board and batten on the front. with the
Yes,
trim,
yes,
so
sir. Yeah.
Now you're switching back over.
Yeah, so it will be hardy on the front and then
Yeah.
vinyl color matched on the sides.
Cool.
So
All right.
All right. All right, is that everything on the list? I don't think we have anything else, right? Carol's got the list.
Okay, I think I have everybody's comments. So
You always have
as we go through, if I accidentally miss somebody's comment, let me know. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right.
All right, so we can then vote on that revisions that we just discussed, and I'm not going to go through them all. Carol will in the motion. And if there's anything, if there's anything,
Need to do it for the record, so.
Okay.
yeah, so with that, for the board, for the changes that we're going to make for 112 Oakwood, may I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 112 Oakwood Avenue with the following changes. All of the siding on the front of the house will be horizontal siding and, oh, I do have a clarification. Sorry, guys. Are all the gables on all the sides going to be shake or just the front?
just the front.
Okay, the gables at the front elevation will have shake siding. The trim boards, the horizontal trim boards that are currently shown on the front of the house will remain. The exposed concrete will have a parged finish. The downspout currently shown on the front porch running down the column will be removed. All of the windows will have grills to match the windows shown on the front elevation. The existing transom-style windows will be 3016, and the windows and doors on the front and rear, I'm sorry, the windows on the side elevations and the rear elevations will have picture frame style trim around them. The trim around the overhead door will remain as shown.
Second. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Opposed? All right, you're good to go.
All right.
And you guys were in the right on the drawings didn't match. You saved him money on legal fees with his contract. I don't know how you would build that without,
Right.
it would have been terrible. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, have a good evening. Thank you. Next, we have 9201 Big Bend Boulevard. New garage. Do we have anyone present for 9201 Big Bend Boulevard? I'm not seeing anybody in person or anyone online.
I thought he was.
So I guess,
Well, Killian Smith Architects, nobody's here.
yeah, no one's here. So I think we have to table, that project. Yep. Unless there's anything else. If there isn't, then, our next board meeting is January 2nd, so
Happy New Year.
2025. Yes, happy new year. And, with that, I guess the meeting is adjourned. So thank you all.
Thank you.